Here's the truth nobody tells you. That $95,000 luxury SUV with 17 touchscreens and subscription-based seat warmers, it'll be worthless electronic junk in 15 years. Meanwhile, a 1993 Lexus LS400 with 320,000 miles just fired up on the first crank this morning, laughing at the entire concept of planned obsolescence. Today's luxury cars are built to dazzle you through a 3-year lease, then quietly disintegrate once the warranty expires. But these 12 legends? They were engineered with obsessive, overbuilt quality that simply doesn't exist anymore. Let's count them down. Number 12. Lincoln Town Car, 1990 to 2011. Let's start with American luxury royalty, the Lincoln Town Car. This wasn't just a car, it was America's statement that simple, durable engineering beats complexity every time. Built on Ford's legendary Panther platform alongside the Crown Victoria, the Town Car was engineered when Detroit still remembered how to build cars that lasted forever. Under that massive hood lived a 4.6-liter modular V8, producing 190 to 239 horsepower depending on the year. Modest numbers, but wrapped in cast-iron reliability. This pushrod V8 featured none of the complexity plaguing modern engines. No variable valve timing, no direct injection carbon buildup, no turbochargers to explode. Just simple, proven technology that commercial taxi fleets trusted for over 400,000 miles of daily abuse. The numbers speak for themselves. One documented 1983 town car logged 1.3 million miles with regular maintenance. In commercial livery service, town cars routinely exceeded 400,000 miles before retirement. The chassis doesn't rust, the transmission is bulletproof, and parts availability is legendary. You can find clean examples for $3,000 to $10,000, used Corolla money for a V8 luxury sedan. Parts are absurdly cheap, any mechanic can fix them, and 17 miles per gallon is the only real compromise. Modern luxury sedans offer more technology? Sure. But in 15 years, the town car will still run, while those German sedans await $12,000 electronics modules that no longer exist. But if you think American simplicity is impressive, wait until you see what Japan built when they decided to conquer luxury. Number 11. Lexus LS400, 1989 to 2000. Speaking of Japanese perfection, let's talk about the car that made Mercedes and BMW executives lose sleep. The first-generation Lexus LS400. When Toyota decided to build a luxury brand from scratch, they didn't cut corners. They reverse-engineered every German luxury sedan, then asked, how do we make this better and more reliable? The answer cost them $1 billion and 6 years of obsessive development. The result was a 4.0-liter V8, so perfectly balanced that engineers placed champagne glasses on the valve covers at idle. They didn't spill. That engine produced 250 horsepower, wrapped in a body registering a 0.29 drag coefficient, better than most sports cars of the era. But the real magic lived in invisible details. Wiring harnesses designed for 25-year lifespans, laser-welded seams, quality control so intense that early LS400s had fewer defects than Swiss luxury watches. Here's where it gets crazy. LS400s regularly hit 500,000 miles with nothing more than routine maintenance. 1 million-mile LS400 documented by Lexus only required replacing the alternator and water pump once each. That's it. No engine rebuilds, no transmission replacements, just oil changes and brake pads. You'll find pristine examples today for $5,000 to $15,000. Still dead, reliable daily drivers. Modern Lexus sedans are nice, loaded with technology that ages like milk. The original LS400, that ages like vintage wine, becoming more desirable as everything else falls apart. But believe it or not, this isn't even the most bulletproof vehicle on this list. Number 10. Toyota Land Cruiser FJ80, FZJ80, 1990 to 1997. Now we're talking about automotive immortality. The 80 series Toyota Land Cruiser. When Toyota launched the FJ80 in 1990, they didn't just build an SUV, they engineered a vehicle capable of crossing continents without paved roads, surviving Australian outback torture testing, and outlasting its original owner, their children, and possibly their grandchildren. The early FJ80s came with a 3FE 4.0-liter inline-six, producing 155 horsepower, but a robust 220 pound-feet of torque. Then, in 1993, Toyota unleashed the legendary 1FZFE 4.5-liter inline-six with 212 horsepower, an engine so overbuilt it's essentially weaponized reliability. Full-time four-wheel drive, coil spring suspension for genuine comfort, and build quality that made German manufacturers question their entire philosophy. Here's where reality gets absurd. 80 series Land Cruisers routinely surpass 300,000 miles without major mechanical drama. One documented example hit 750,000 kilometers in Japanese taxi service, arguably the most demanding environment imaginable. When a vehicle survives Japanese taxi duty, it can survive anything. The only common issues? Suspension bushings after 200,000 plus miles and brake pads. You can find domestic examples for $15,000 to $35,000, depending on condition. Yes, fuel economy hovers around 12 miles per gallon, but you're buying transportation your grandchildren will inherit. Modern Land Cruisers cost $90,000 plus and won't see their 20th birthday. And if you think Japanese reliability is unbeatable, wait until you see this next hidden gem. Number 9. Cadillac DeVille, 1994 to 1999. Here's a controversial pick, the Cadillac DeVille, but listen carefully. Avoid 2000 to 2005 North Star engines like the plague due to catastrophic head gasket failures. But the 1994 to 1999 models with the 4.9-liter L26 V8 producing 200 horsepower, these are hidden reliability champions that most people overlook because they assume all Cadillacs are maintenance nightmares. They're completely wrong. The 4.9-liter L26 V8 was Cadillac's last old-school pushrod V8 before the problematic North Star, and it's essentially bulletproof. No head gasket issues, no timing chain failures, no catastrophic oil consumption, just a proven, simple V8 that runs forever with regular oil changes. The transmission is a durable 4T60E 4-speed automatic, and the body-on-frame construction means the chassis doesn't fatigue. These DeVilles regularly hit 200,000 to 250,000 miles with minimal drama. One owner documented 296,000 miles on the original engine and transmission with nothing but routine maintenance. The air suspension can fail, but it's easily convertible to conventional coil springs for $500 to $800. Common issues are minor. Window regulators eventually wear, digital dashboard pixel failures, some electrical gremlins if neglected. Here's the crazy part. You can buy immaculate 1994 to 1999 DeVilles for $2,000 to $6,000 today. Literally used civic money for a luxurious V8 sedan with leather-heated seats. Modern Cadillacs, beautiful but terrifying repair costs. Before we continue, quick note. If you're serious about keeping any of these legends running strong, check the description below for our recommended maintenance products and resources. Trust me, you'll want to see what's down there. And speaking of unexpected reliability, the next German legend will surprise you. Number 8. BMW E38 7 Series, 1994 to 2001. Here's where BMW purists get emotional. The E38 7 Series. This was the last generation of BMW's flagship before the brand became obsessed with iDrive complexity, electronic nightmares, and building cars designed to empty your wallet every 6 months. The E38 represented peak analog BMW luxury, supremely engineered, beautifully balanced, and still simple enough that a skilled mechanic could actually fix it. You had engine choices ranging from the bulletproof 2.8-liter M52 inline-six, producing 193 horsepower, to the magnificent 3.5-liter M62 V8 with 282 horsepower, all the way to the glorious 5.4-liter M73 V12 in the 750 IL, pumping out 322 horsepower and making smoothness that V8s dream about. The build quality was exceptional. Thick paint, solid body panels, laser-welded seams, and an interior that still feels genuinely luxurious today. Now, let's be honest, E38s need more attention than a Lexus. The cooling systems require preventive replacement around 100,000 miles. Window regulators eventually surrender. And if you buy a V12, you're maintaining 2 inline-sixes at double the cost. But the core components, engine, transmission, chassis, are essentially unbreakable when properly maintained. E38s, with 300,000 plus miles, are common in the enthusiast community. You can grab a clean 740i for $6,000 to $12,000 or a V12750IL for $8,000 to $18,000. Compare that to a modern 7 Series where the electronic parking brake alone costs $3,500 to replace. But surprisingly, this German icon isn't even the most durable here. Number 7. Acura Legend, 1991 to 1995. Let me introduce you to a criminally underrated legend, the second-generation Honda Legend, sold in North America as the Acura Legend. While everyone obsessed over the LS400 and German luxury sedans, Honda quietly built a luxury car so reliable it makes Swiss chronometers look unreliable. This wasn't Honda's first luxury rodeo. By the second generation, they'd created something genuinely special. The heart was a 3.2-liter C32 AV6, producing 200 to 230 horsepower depending on configuration, mated to either a silky 5-speed automatic or 6-speed manual that shifted better than German competitors. But the real innovation was Honda's obsession with handling. This luxury sedan featured 4-wheel steering on certain models, making it corner like something half its size. The build quality was pure Honda perfection. Every panel fit precisely, nothing rattled even after 200,000 miles, and interior materials aged gracefully. Here's the thing about Legends, they just don't break, ever. 250,000-mile examples are everywhere, often still running on original major components. Common issues? Basically, none exist. Maybe a starter motor after 200,000 miles, perhaps some suspension bushings. That's it. The C32 AV6 is one of Honda's most bulletproof engines ever built. You can find pristine second-generation Legends for $4,000 to $12,000, which is absurd value. Modern Acuras are fine, but they're packed with infotainment systems that'll be obsolete before you finish your first payment. And if you think Honda's reliability is impressive, the next Swedish tank proves Volvo deserves serious respect. Number 6. Volvo 940, 960, 1990 to 1998. Let's talk about Swedish durability, the Volvo 940 and 960. While other manufacturers chased styling awards and quarterly profit targets, Volvo was quietly building sedans with one singular obsession: survive absolutely everything. The 940 and 960 represented the culmination of Volvo's classic rear-wheel drive platform, refined over decades into something approaching automotive immortality. The 940 typically featured a 2.3-liter B230F 4-cylinder, producing 114 to 155 horsepower, depending on whether you got naturally aspirated or turbocharged, while the 960 upgraded to a buttery-smooth 3.0-liter B6304 F inline-6 with 181 to 204 horsepower. Power was never the point. Longevity was the entire philosophy. These engines featured massive internal tolerances, robust forged components, and construction quality that puts modern engines to shame. Here's where reality becomes absurd. 500,000-mile Volvo 940s and 960s aren't rare. They're common daily drivers. Finding one under 200,000 miles is harder because nobody retires these cars. Common issues? Maybe a heater core after 250,000 miles, perhaps suspension bushings, possibly an alternator. The engine and transmission, essentially permanent installations. Swedish taxi drivers routinely rack up 600,000 plus kilometers without major repairs. You can buy excellent 940 to 960 examples for $3,000 to $8,000. Modern Volvos are beautiful, sophisticated Chinese-owned products packed with complex electronics that age terribly. The 940, 960, that's generational transportation, but we're approaching the top 5, and these next cars are absolute legends. Number 5. Mercedes-Benz W124 E-Class, 1985 to 1995. If the W140 S-Class was Mercedes proving they could build the ultimate flagship, the W124 E-Class was Mercedes proving they could apply that same obsessive quality to a mid-size sedan. Launched in 1985 and refined until 1995, the W124 represents what many enthusiasts consider the last truly over-engineered Mercedes before accountants demanded cost-cutting and planned obsolescence became standard. The W124 came with a dizzying array of powertrains, from frugal 2.0-liter M601 diesel 4-cylinders to the legendary 3.0-liter M103 inline-6, producing 177 to 217 horsepower, all the way to the bonkers E500 E60 AMG variants, with 322 to 381 horsepower V8 power. But regardless of engine choice, the philosophy remained identical: build it to last forever. Rust protection was exceptional with galvanized steel bodies, and every component was engineered with absurd durability. The numbers are staggering. W124s routinely exceed 500,000 miles, with many documented examples pushing 750,000 miles or more, particularly diesel variants. In Africa and the Middle East, W124s still serve as daily taxicabs, the ultimate durability test. Common issues? Maybe cooling system components around 150,000 miles, window regulators eventually, some electrical gremlins if neglected. You can find solid W124 examples for $5,000 to $15,000, with pristine AMG variants commanding $25,000 to $50,000 plus. Modern E-classes are technological marvels that'll bankrupt you post-warranty, but we're down to the final four, and things get even more legendary. Number 4. Lexus GS300 GS400, 1997 to 2005. The second-generation Lexus GS doesn't get nearly enough respect. While everyone obsesses over the LS400, the GS was Lexus proving they could build a sport luxury sedan that was simultaneously thrilling to drive and Toyota reliable, something German manufacturers claimed was impossible. The GS300 featured the legendary 2JZGE 3.0-liter inline-6 producing 220 horsepower. Yes, that 2JZ, the same engine from the Supra legendary for its over-engineered strength. The GS400 stepped up with a 1UZFE 4.0-liter V8, making 300 horsepower, and delivering performance that genuinely embarrassed BMW's best efforts. But power was just the beginning. The GS had near-perfect 50-50 weight distribution, rear-wheel drive, and handling that made it genuinely fun while maintaining Lexus's obsessive reliability commitment. The build quality was exceptional, better materials than contemporary BMW 5 Series, tighter assembly than Mercedes E-Class. Reliability? The 2JZ engine is famous for lasting 500,000 plus miles with basic maintenance, and the 1UZFE V8 is similarly unkillable. These cars hit 300,000 miles and barely break a sweat. Common issues are laughably minor, maybe a starter motor after 200,000 miles, perhaps some ignition coils. That's it. Transmissions keep shifting smoothly, differentials never fail. You can find pristine GS examples for $5,000 to $15,000, absolute value. Modern sports sedans offer more tech, but in 15 years, the GS will still run perfectly. We're down to 3. And these are the ultimate survivors. Number 3. Honda Accord, 1998 to 2002. Wait, a Honda Accord at number 3? Absolutely. While the 1998 to 2002 Accord 56 might not have the prestige badge of a Mercedes, it represents something more important: accessible luxury-level refinement built with engineering integrity that doesn't exist in modern vehicles. This generation was Honda at their absolute peak, before cost-cutting, before simplified platforms, before chasing profits over perfection. The 3.0-liter J30A 1V6 produced 200 to 240 horsepower depending on year, wrapped in a beautifully proportioned body that was surprisingly upscale inside. This wasn't marketed as luxury, but the build quality, materials, sound insulation, and refinement easily matched real luxury sedans. The difference? It cost half as much and would outlive them all. Honda engineered this generation with obsessive attention: double-sealed doors for reduced wind noise, premium sound-dampening materials throughout the cabin, and leather that aged gracefully. The numbers don't lie. 400,000-mile Accords from this generation are everywhere. The engine and transmission are essentially unkillable with basic maintenance. Oil changes every 5,000 miles, timing belt replacements at recommended intervals, and you're set for life. The chassis doesn't rust thanks to excellent corrosion protection. The interior doesn't fall apart or develop squeaks even after decades, and even the original paint holds up remarkably well. Common issues? Some 1999 to 2000 V6 models had transmission problems, but Honda extended warranties and addressed the issue. The ownership experience is remarkably affordable. Parts are everywhere and cheap, any mechanic can work on them, and fuel economy averages 20 to 25 miles per gallon combined. You can find excellent examples for $3,000 to $8,000, absurd value. Modern Accords have turbocharged engines with carbon deposits, CVT transmissions with unknown longevity, and complex electronics. The 1998 to 2002 V6, a time capsule of when Honda built forever. Now, let's get to the final two legends. Number 2, Porsche 911, 1994 to 1998. Here's where things get controversial. A Porsche 911 on a reliability list? Absolutely, but only the 993 generation, the final air-cooled 911 representing the ultimate evolution of 35 years of continuous refinement. While Porsches have a reputation for expensive maintenance, the 993 is genuinely well-built and surprisingly reliable if properly maintained. The naturally aspirated 3.6-liter M64 flat-6 produced 272 horsepower initially, increased to 282 horsepower with Vari-O-Ram in 1996. The turbo models featured revolutionary twin-turbo setup producing 408 horsepower, while the Mental GT2 pumped out 450 horsepower. The 993 featured a completely redesigned LSA chassis, light, stable, agile, with revolutionary multi-link rear suspension that finally tamed the 911's notorious handling quirks. Build quality was exceptional, thick paint that still shines today, precision German assembly, and interior materials that aged beautifully. Here's the surprising truth. Properly maintained 993s are reliable. The air-cooled flat-6 is simpler than modern engines with fewer things to break. No complex cooling systems to fail, no variable valve timing to malfunction, no turbochargers on base models. Common issues? Window regulators fail eventually, oil leaks develop if gaskets aren't replaced proactively, suspension bushings wear after 150,000 plus miles. But core mechanicals, engine, transmission, differential, are bulletproof with proper care. High-mileage 993s with 200,000 plus miles exist and run strong. Yes, maintenance costs more than a Honda. Expect $2,000 to $3,000 annually for proper upkeep, including oil changes, inspections, and preventive replacements. But you can find solid 993 Carrera, 2 examples for $50,000 to $85,000, and they're appreciating assets, not depreciating liabilities. Modern 911s are faster and packed with technology. A 993 will still be driving beautifully in 2050. Now, the moment you've been waiting for? Number 1, Mercedes-Benz W140 S-Class, 1991 to 1998. Here it is. The ultimate expression of over-engineered luxury, the Mercedes-Benz W140 S-Class. This wasn't just a car, it was Mercedes making a statement to the entire automotive world. Watch this. Launched in 1991 with a development cost reportedly exceeding $1 billion, the W140 was engineered with tolerances typically reserved for German industrial machinery. We're talking self-closing doors that seal with vault-like precision, double-pane windows for absolute silence, and panel gaps so tight you'd need precision measuring equipment to detect them. Under that imposing hood, you could choose from a silky 3.2-liter M104 inline-6 to the magnificent 4.2-liter M119 V8, producing 279 horsepower, all the way to the legendary 6.0-liter M125-12, pumping out 389 horsepower and making smoothness that defies description. But power was secondary to the engineering philosophy. Build it so well, it never breaks. And it worked spectacularly. W140S routinely sail past 300,000 miles without major drama, with many examples still serving as daily drivers across Europe, Africa, and the Middle East decades later. Now, when a W140 does break, repair bills can make adults weep. Specialist labor is expensive, parts aren't cheap, and complexity means diagnosis takes time. But here's the thing, it breaks rarely with proper maintenance. Following the service schedule religiously means these cars run forever. Compare that to a modern S-Class where AR-matic suspension costs $5,000, Command system is $8,000, and every electronic module is a potential failure point, and suddenly, W140 maintenance looks reasonable. You can find decent W140 examples for $8,000 to $25,000 depending on condition, with pristine V12 examples commanding up to $50,000 from collectors. Modern S-Classes are technological marvels offering unimaginable comfort. They'll also become worthless electronic junk post-warranty. The W140, that'll outlive us all, still running perfectly in 2050. There you have it. 12 legends proving modern isn't always better. From the vault-like W140 to the immortal Accord 5.6, these cars were engineered when durability mattered more than quarterly profits. Modern luxury cars are incredible technological achievements, but most won't see their 20th birthday. The electronics will fail catastrophically, repair costs will exceed value, and they'll be crushed. Meanwhile, these 12 will still be running, still turning heads, still proving that quality engineering never dies. If you love this, hit that subscribe button and check out our next video on SUVs that refuse to die. Drop a comment telling me which one you'd buy, and remember, the best luxury is the car that's still running when everything else has quit.